All right, welcome, kings and queens. We're back, y'all. Listen, we're going to talk about motherless daughters since that is the topic that seems to have this therapist with her panties in a wad. Because, honey, she took to Destiny Payton's therapist. Now, of course, Destiny is leaning in with the notion, I didn't know nothing about nothing. Girl, quit playing with us. Now, we're a little bit more sharp than that. You're going to have to stay up all night to pull one up over on us. But okay, if that's what you're running with, you had no idea. You had nothing. Okay, it just so happened that your therapist, your messy ass therapist, was snooping around on TikTok. Just so happened to find Melody's page when she went live and stayed long enough to walk away with ammunition to attack her. What kind of therapist is that could not hold her peace to the confines and the parameters of her private office, if she has an office? I've never seen a therapist operate in that realm. Let me say this. On Wednesday mornings, we have what we call Coffee Talk in the Palace. We start off with mental health. We transition into financial well-being. And we also go into health and wellness. And then we transition into a corporate segment. And we talk all things, y'all. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about how some people should fire their therapist because the therapists sometimes keep you codependent upon them. And just what you want to be able to do is have this therapeutic alliance with your therapy that they get you ready to move past the traumas, the emotional damage, the highs and lows that has kept you from living a healthy and an optimal life. And with that being said, Destiny, you need to fire your therapist. Now, if you didn't have all of the information that you claim you didn't have. Now, I don't believe that, but we're going to go with that. And if that's the case, you need to fire your therapist. Let's talk about it. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
Oh, yeah. Motherless daughters, a very, very robust conversation that's needed for Black women. And then you have this therapist that comes out of nowhere and attempts to derail the conversation by making it a negative and inserting herself in somebody's business that has nothing to do with her. Now, as opposed to you allowing your flower to bloom, what you tried to do is rain on somebody else's parade. When the fact of the matter is, ma'am, we all receive the same 24 hours in a day. My question to you is like Capital One, what's in your wallet? What's in your arsenal? What are you pushing for to the Black community that could be helpful, opposed to creating strife, discord, tension, and discombobulated relationships? As a therapist, how are you operating in your highest height as a professional, other than running your mouth on YouTube about what should and should not be said? And how does this benefit Destiny in the therapeutic alliance? Fire your therapist, because I do know for a fact that therapists should avoid behaviors that do violate boundaries, confidentiality, and you just let us know by running your mouth, ma'am, that obviously there's a rift and or a tift that your patient, your client, Destiny Payton, has with Melody Shari. Made it very clear that you were talking about Melody Shari. Okay, that's a violation, in my opinion, indirectly, because you made it very clear that the confidentiality was no longer confidential. Now, therapists should avoid behaviors that violate confidentiality. And some examples of these behaviors to avoid include non-therapy related conversations, talking about unrelated topics that have nothing to do with her therapy sessions, judgmental behaviors, all of which you displayed on YouTube. You owe that lady an apology, because what you tried to do is crucify and deconstruct a positive environment. And you know what? For once, I can say for all content creators, all of us, sometimes we can't win for losing, because when you come out and you try to evoke positive conversation, it's always that one negative Nancy waiting in the bushes to attack, to put their negative ass opinion on it. And it just so happened that this time it happens to be a lady that claims she is indeed the mental health expert and the warden that patrols in the bushes, YouTube and TikTok. Ma'am, please have a seat. Unprofessional behaviors do include bringing personal views into the therapy room. You spoke in a very personal way. It was very, very personal. It was customized. You customized and crafted your message as a takedown to Melody Shari. My question to you is, are you triggered by Melody? Or are you triggered by the motherless daughter? Are you a motherless daughter? And that's not meant to be shade at you. But like Melody said, could it be that your pain brought you up out those bushes? Unethical behaviors also include failing to disclose conflicts of interest. What qualm do you have with Melody? What qualm do you have with that conversation that bothered you so much you just had to wake up the next day and create discord and deconstruct everything that they've done together as cast members, including your patient's apology to the cast member that your message was targeted to? Y'all, fire the therapist, okay? Fire your therapist. As soon as your therapist start acting like your homegirl and standing in a gap and windmilling for you and acting like she want a nuck if a nigga buck, fire her. Fire her. It's unethical. It's unprofessional behavior. It's it was so unempathetic to whatever it is that you're trying to help. I don't know if it's an imaginary finish line or if there's even actually a goalpost in sight that destiny is headed towards. But ma'am, I would not hire you as my therapist. The way you showed your ass on social media, the way you came out swinging is completely unnecessary. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, it contributes to the angry Black woman syndrome. It's giving haterade. It's giving envy. It's giving jealousy. And it's giving, what the hell are you doing spying? Being a damn peeping Tom on another woman's TikTok. Girl, that's stuff you're supposed to hold close to your chest and talk to your other therapist about. But ain't no way are you supposed to bring that to your patient's platform because it's unethical, it's unprofessional. You know the standards that you signed up for. Now, here's my issue with this therapist. First of all, you came on attacking someone's perspective. First of all, let's be clear about the definition of perspective. It's a particular attitude toward or way of regarding something. It's simply a point of view. Nothing more, nothing less. Let me say it again. A perspective is a point of view. First of all, I want you to know the difference between perspective and psychological modalities. We were not talking about specialties or anything like that. It's simply a perspective. And we all have them, including yourself. You shared your perspective. But I think what confuses me is, why do you feel like it's your job to hide in people's platforms and troll them and try to police their perspective as an expert? You were not invited to the conversation. You could have introduced this a long time ago. So it's almost like people that don't think of it, so they're going to tear it apart because it's your idea. And that's why I ask you, ma'am, are you a motherless daughter? What was it that triggered you the most about the conversation? That it came from Melody and it didn't come from you? Or that you probably, I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know. Because you came out of nowhere, and the amount of negativity surrounding your dialogue and narrative, I think it was off-putting to all of us. All of us. And it really puts your patient in a very tender and sensitive situation. And that's why I said I would fire my therapist if my therapist ever did that to me publicly, because there are so many different things that Destiny could be working on. Number one, establishing financial freedom so that she doesn't have to face any more charges regarding fraud, identity theft, or getting her bills placed in anybody else's name. See, that's one thing you could be working on. That's reason number one, I would fire you if you were my therapist and if I were Desi. Number two, I would probably fire you if you did not explain to me the difference between real and imaginary friends, because your patient seems to think that she had a friendship with her producer when really it was a professional relationship. See, that's something you could be working on in therapy. The third thing, helping her to work through her issues that she may have as a motherless daughter, because we've seen Destiny in real time go through some stuff with other women. Another reason that I would fire you, or Destiny should fire you, is because Destiny stayed 15 years with the married man on and off. 15 years. And how long have you? And she just severed the relationship, ma'am, a few months ago. Maybe you could talk with her or work through staying too long and knowing when to leave and not being with the man for 15 years who's married. Okay? Maybe helping her to create safe boundaries so that the likes of a Martellholt wouldn't feel so comfortable to say that her son looks like him, implying that they've had a sexual relationship. All of those things that you could be working on, focused on, but yet you choose to stalk, harass, hide in the bushes, peeping Tom ass therapist. Okay. What about bashing other women? Where were you when she did a press tour on Moses and Sonny? How did you help her? How come you didn't talk her out of that and say that's not a good look? I thought we were revamping your brand. Destiny, we worked on that. Did you not give her strategies and coping skills to be able to push through and to zip it and shut it so that she doesn't look like, you know what? Let me move on. Yeah, fire your therapist, because there's so much more that she could be focused on and bringing to the table other than critiquing other Black women and shitting on other Black women on YouTube. Now, I only said this, man, because you included me. That if you utilize your 24 hours in a day like everybody else did, you could be further along in your practice. Now, my question to you is, are you indeed a mental health professional, or are you just a life coach with a certification, since you want to shit on everybody else's credentials? I'll wait.
You all should be ashamed. How can you drink right after a funeral? Like this? Give me another one, them, Grady. Fred Sanford, you just left the house of the Lord, and now I'm in my house.